Arkansas Baptist State Convention recently passed a resolution in support of Issue 2, which repeals a Polk County casino license. Here to update us on that, as well as other things happening with this election cycle, is Polk County resident Larry Walker. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Jenny, thank you for having me on today.
Of course. Well, you were there at the state convention, the Arkansas Baptist State Convention. This issue is still, I think, for a lot of Arkansas voters, conservatives, Christians, this is still a hard one for them to wrap their brain around as far as, okay, what's really the truth here, and how do I need to vote as a Christian conservative? And so I'd love to hear an update from that state convention yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great time. There was a lot of folks there from the Baptist churches in Arkansas. We had a booth. Larry Page had a booth there, and since marijuana was disqualified, our issue is really the only one out there. So he let us use his booth there at the convention. So we really do appreciate Larry Page doing that
Yeah,
for us and letting us have that booth time. So I got to speak to a lot of pastors coming through and talk to them. And in 3 days of being there, I had one negative conversation. And I say negative, it wasn't even negative against the issue. It
sure.
was just a
Yeah,
pastor that didn't want to mix mix politics in the church. But other than that, everything else was very broad-based support in terms of we support what you're doing, we support your efforts. Um, and the only question is I got we hey, we don't want casinos here. We want to be able to get rid of this one for you guys, and we want to be able to have a say moving forward. How do we vote? And I
yeah,
said, you vote for issue two to make
yeah.
that happen. And that was the overwhelming support. And then we did run the resolution on yesterday, Wednesday, and that passed unanimously. There weren't any no votes. It passed unanimously through the convention, and that is to urge churches statewide to, and Baptist churches in particular, to vote yes for issue two, vote for issue two, and to support the effort in any way they can. Pray,
Yeah.
because as we've talked about, there's a lot of dollars that are being thrown at us in this. Um, a lot of people opposing us from out of state, by the way, for those people who are wondering about the out of state dollars. More money is being spent by another entity out of state to oppose us. So they people get confused by that, and so we're encouraging, hey, support issue two, vote for issue two, and pray, have your people pray about it, but then also put their feet to action and go to the polls and vote.
What are you hearing from pastors about this election cycle? What are they saying about issue two? What are they just saying in general? Do you feel as though pastors here, you mentioned that one who, I don't feel comfortable mixing politics with, church. What did you hear though overwhelmingly, or what did even pastors ask?
Honestly, it was there are people that are confused about the issue.
Hmm.
That primarily has to do with the marketing that's opposing us. The language of
Yeah,
it, we heard with the Supreme Court last week, they came out and resoundingly said with a 6-1 vote, the language is clear, it's unambiguous, and it doesn't misrepresent the issue. The language is clear. The
yeah,
marketing that is coming against people, all the mailers they're getting in the mail about vote no, all that kind of stuff, that's what they're trying to accomplish, the other side. They are trying to confuse voters. And so that
yeah.
the pastors would come up and gosh, half of the questions I got were, hey, we think we're supposed to vote for this, but I keep seeing so many flyers. I just want to make sure that I'm telling my people right.
Yeah,
And so I think people generally know when they read it, this is how I'm supposed to vote.
right.
But again, the marketing that's being thrown at them is telling them otherwise. And so yes, read it and you'll see, hey, this is a vote for issue. Especially if you are a conservative evangelical person, then this is definitely the way you should go. It protects Arkansas, it protects families, and it helps remove part of that vice out of Arkansas.
You mentioned big money, and I was on a phone call this morning and we were talking about issue two, and this person said, I don't know about big money, but it seems as though The side opposing issue two has very deep pockets. I've already received 4 mailers. And I said, I know, isn't that interesting that, on their flyer that I've probably received 5 or 6 now about issue two, out of state money, out of state interest, don't let billionaires dictate. I'm like, how interesting that, the side that's opposing it is literally has all of the funding, out of state funding on their side. And that's an argument as well for those who talk about this.
Yeah, yeah, and hey, and I'm not ever going to deny that are we receiving out of state money for our effort? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a multi-million dollar effort to do a ballot. I never knew anything about ballot campaigns until I started this 6 years ago, and you can't run one without a lot of money. You have
Yeah.
to get it passed. It takes money. Um, I have been blown away in the last. I've done this, like I said, 6.5 years. In the last month, the amount of money that the opposition has put into
Mm,
this has been unreal. September alone, they nearly outspent us 3-1.
yeah.
And so it's very disingenuous for people to say they would oppose us because of out of state dollars when the opposing side 100% funded by Cherokee Nation businesses out of Oklahoma, is putting $8 million in September. And I'm going to say my estimate by the end of this, they'll probably have spent 20 to $25 million
Wow.
opposing us in this effort. And that
Yeah.
now back that clock up. Who got this? Who got Amendment 100 in Arkansas in the first place? Well, it was the millions of dollars spent by Cherokee Nation businesses that did that, along with the Quapaw that are in Saracen and Pine Bluff.
Hmm.
They spent the money to get, at that point in time, it was issue four, Amendment 100 put on the ballot and now is a part of our Constitution.
Yeah.
And who are the two entities that have come up with licenses? Well, it's those two entities that paid for the amendment, out of state interests that brought this forward in 2018. And so, as local voters, as local people born and raised in Russellville, Arkansas, I myself and the others that are on our committee, we have been fighting this and fighting this and fighting this. And so we welcome any money we can get to fight the fight.
Yeah.
And it doesn't benefit us personally. It just makes our place a better place to live. And it's in fighting this fight, and it's giving rights to the people of Arkansas that they deserve. And so at the end of the day, yeah, you got money from both sides that's coming from out of state. And I tell people, hey, look at it, and knowing that both sides are spending money from out of state, just let that cancel itself out and say, what's best?
Yeah.
Is it best for Pope County, who voted 61-39 against this issue originally? And I'll tell you, the people I'm talking to here and the polling that we've done over the summer, Pope County still opposes
Mm,
a casino here, by and large.
yeah.
And I think the polls will reflect that come November 5th. So it's protecting them, but it's also giving the rest of Arkansas a choice in the future should something like this come their way.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting. I've also seen some things out there and in the headlines. Well, Polk County residents want this. And then when you look to see who is really out there advocating in Polk County, I should say, want this, wants the casino license, and is against issue two, for clarification, overwhelmingly they're elected officials.
It's elected officials, absolutely. And you can go back and watch videos. We pulled one up yesterday from 2019 where our Grand County judge was talking about how much he opposed a casino and he was going to uphold the will of the people. And lo and behold, within weeks of him coming into office, he's issuing a letter of support for Cherokee Nation
Yeah.
businesses. Well, let's back up even further, though, on that. I can go back. We FOIA'd him. I believe it was in December or January, right at 2018, 2019. And in May of 2018, he was already talking to Cherokee Nation businesses before
Wow.
he was ever voted into office. And so it's, again, disingenuous for him to say.
Yeah.
That's the most gracious word I can give it at this point. But it's very disingenuous for him to say that he has the people, he's supporting the people and what they want, with him talking to Cherokee Nation businesses 6 months before he was even elected. And
Yeah.
so history doesn't prove it out. And right now he's standing up on stages advocating for them instead of for what the people want.
And I think certainly our voters, that will resonate. That's something, especially at Conduit, we've seen time and time again. We see those running for office stand on conservative principles and practices. And then once they get in office, they completely switch. And it's interesting, a lot of these who work, all the way from city county to state office. Well, but it'll be different when I'm in office. And, yes, we're growing government, or yes, we're doing this, but it'll be better than it was. And it's like, no, you're still growing government or voting against the will of the people, even if you think, and so that's certainly really interesting to me. And I tell people when they say, well, Polk County residents want it, I said, the elected officials want it. I said, and follow the money. We say that at Conduit all of the time.
So all week we've been at polling the election headquarters with our tent set up outside,
Yeah,
and had people there. And it's all been our local citizens from Polk County that have been there,
yeah,
staffing it the whole time, the ones that have been working so hard at this. And then they have a tent that's probably 100 feet down or so. And I'm not sure that they have had a local resident there yet.
really.
Most, by and large, it has been out of state people that have been there staffing their tent. And it's very interesting
Yeah,
because we talk about out of state money, we talk about out of state people, and that's who it's been. So, I
yeah,
think again, we see who the local support, we see who
yeah,
is really working for this, and the local folks. I mean, you go to the web pages that they have, you get people from Polk County, or from Yell County, Johnson County, from all over
yeah,
chiming in on this on their pages. But your local people from Russellville and from the surrounding area right here
yeah.
in Polk County, they don't want a casino here. So
Absolutely. Okay, well, there's still quite a bit of time before Election Day for people to early vote. Tell us the website, what people need to know before they head to the polls.
yeah, localvotersincharge.org. They can go to our Facebook page as well, and they can see information there. But vote for issue two. Vote yes for issue two. Vote for issue two. It's going to give your local county a say in the future. If
Yeah,
something like this comes its way, it removes the casino out of Polk County. And I say the casino out of Polk County.
I
There
like,
is
yeah,
not a casino here for people, by the way. If the economic conversation comes into play, Arkansas has not benefited any dollars from a casino here. And from the best I can tell, the last several years, Arkansas has run a surplus as a state. And so, you know, us having a casino here, we're doing pretty good in the state
yeah,
with our surpluses and things like that. We are not taking money away. There's no jobs right now that are affiliated that are out there with the casino. And so vote for issue two. It's what makes sense for Arkansas.
it really does. Well, thank you so much for coming on Conduit again. We'll certainly have you back on the closer that we get to Election Day.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny.